So what does the Bible say about the skin color of the ancient Israelites? The actual answer might surprise you. One of the most common verses to try and dictate the skin color of the ancient Israelites is Jeremiah 14, verse 2, which we can read right here. Now, they like to say, and they were black unto the ground, or black unto the soil. Well, it doesn't mean they had black skin. If we read Jeremiah 14, verse 1, this says there was a dearth. What is a dearth? A dearth means a lack of something. This dearth, or lack, was caused by a famine. So there's two ways that they were black under the ground actually means. Either one, the plants were black into the ground because they were wilted and destroyed because of the drought. So there was a dearth or a lack of caused by a drought. Or two, the other way to look at it is that they were black under the ground, meaning that they were mourning. They were wailing and bent over onto the ground because they were in mourning, because black means death and mourning. So, in other words, the term black there is in reference to what was happening due to a famine. Another reason we can't use the black into the ground in Jeremiah to indicate skin color is when we go to Lamentations 4:7, which Lamentations was also written by the prophet Jeremiah. And in Lamentations 4:7, he says that they were white as milk. Well, if we say white as milk, well, that would indicate white skin color. Now, if we're going to use the exact same thing. And it then goes on to say ruddiness. Well, ruddiness means you have a red skin color, and that redness comes from things like blushing, the skin disease of rosacea, anything like that. It would be considered a ruddy complexion. It's also an indication of healthy skin color. Now, anyhow, ruddiness can appear at any and all skin colors, but it is more apparent in lighter complexions than it is in darker complexions. Some like to go one step further and take Revelations chapter 1, verses 14 and 15 to say that Jesus was a black man. Well, it says that his hair was white like wool, as white as snow, but they don't like to take the white as wool and like to try, oh, well, it was woolly like, rather than saying it was just white like wool and white like snow. And then they go on in verse 15 where it says his feet were like burnt bronze. And here, they don't like to use the KJV because the KJV says burnt like brass. But we got some interesting things going on with the meaning of burnt like brass, and we'll take a look at that next. So the interesting thing is the word being used for brass or bronze in the book of Revelation is unique to just the book of Revelations. And it appears to be a compound of Greek words for frankincense and the Greek word for brass or bronze. Now, this is interesting because let's take a look at frankincense. This here is a picture of frankincense. Notice how it has a kind of yellowish, whitish color to it. So, the translation of Revelation probably shouldn't have said burnt like brass or burnt like bronze. They probably should have said like burning brass or like burning bronze. Because what does brass or bronze look like when it's being cooked in a furnace? You know, it starts to illuminesce and it gets orange and then eventually it gets white hot. So in other words, the complexion or appearance of Jesus' feet were white hot, not black. So once we realize that all those color references in the Bible aren't in reference to skin color, but they're all symbolic to indicate states of being or some other form of symbology, then we realize the Bible doesn't care about skin color. God doesn't care about skin color. Now, if you really do care about the skin color of the ancient Israelites, the best we can do is try to do ancient DNA studies. Now, we know that Abraham was a Chaldean. His father was a Chaldean. So, knowing that Abraham was a Chaldean and the Israelites all descend from Abraham, we can sit there and look at ancient Chaldean DNA. And a while back I read about a study and shows that ancient Chaldeans are most closely genetically related to modern Lebanese people. So the way modern Lebanese people look are the way the ancient Chaldeans looked, which would mean that's the way the ancient Israelites looked. So modern Lebanese are probably what ancient Israelites look like.